Vamos falar de blues.
Olá, eu sou o Buda e estou aqui com Zac Harmon e vamos falar de blues. Hello, Zac.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here after a great, loud show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Very
you for having me.
energetic.
Yes.
First of all, who is Zac Harmon?
I'm just a blues guy, man. You know, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I was born into the blues, you know, and I'm part of the blues legacy and the blues movement that's very strong right now, and that's very much alive.
Great. And what is the blues to you? What does the blues mean?
Well, the blues is basically the part of the African root. You know, it comes from the lineage from Africa. You know, and it was started, played in the South in Mississippi. You know, started in the fields when basically field workers, you know, and slaves were communicating with one another. You know, they didn't have drums. You know, they had to have other ways of communicating, and they created instruments like a diddley bow, which is, you know, tied straight to West Africa. You know what I'm saying? So it just grew out of that. You know.
What is a diddley bow?
Diddley bow is a one-string instrument.
You played with a slide? Or?
Yeah, it can be played with a slide or without a slide. Sometimes it was a baling wire that was tacked onto the house,
the porch, or
and you use a glass and you play it.
Okay, as they say, Muddy Waters did it with the knee.
Yeah.
With the string. To the porch.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, great. So, what is your blues top 5, song-wise?
Oh wow, that's kind of hard, you know.
You don't need to say the ultimate top 5, but at least for my audience,
Well, I think,
5 great blues songs.
Well, great blues songs, you know. I think Poor Black Maddie, you know. I like R.L. Burnside's version, you know, and I like B.B. King's Thrill Is Gone, you know. I like Albert King, you know. Wow, I mean, there's so many of his songs that I love, you know. Laundromat Blues, you know. Oh God, that's Muddy Waters, you know. Manish Boy, you know. I mean, these are all classics, man. You know?
Manish Boy is my ultimate blues song.
And of course, Howlin' Wolf, you know. Smokestack Lightning, you know. These are all pillars, you know, monuments in the blues, you know.
And who's your favorite bluesman, if you can elect one?
Oh, God, that's kind of tough too, because I like so many, you know.
But if you need to just pick one, who's the first one that comes to your mind?
I think it would be Little Milton Campbell.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And from the living bluesmen?
The living guys right now, I think that my favorite guy would be Ronnie Baker Brooks. That's living.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Burks was also one of my favorites because he's my good friend. Ronnie is my good friend, you know. So I don't know whether it's fair for me to say, but you know, we all love one another, you know, and those guys were my favorites.
Great.
You know.
And what do you find the blues means to the music, to the world, and to the world music? Especially in the 20th century, what was the importance of the blues in the music culture?
Well, blues is like, as I said before, chicken soup for the soul, you know. And you know, even the modern blues man, you know, folks like Joe Louis Walker, you know, and Bernard Allison, you know. I mean, if you listen to the songs, you know, it's a testament to what's going on in the world right now. You know, the blues tells the story. You know, and so if you want to know what's going on, just turn on your local blues radio.
It's the news.
It's the news.
Because the blues are kind of an intervention,
Absolutely.
intervention movement.
Well, you know, music is medicine. You know, when we went through a very turbulent period in the 50s and 60s in the States, and it was the music with the blues as the root. Everything else is the fruit, but as the blues as the root, that was the healer. You know, that's what brought America through that period. You know, and that's why the blues has become so popular as an export throughout the world today. You know, because the same magic that it had then is the magic that it has now. You know, and now we're in another period.
Do you think the U.S. is going through another?
Yes, we're going through
50s.
We're going through another period, so it'll be the blues.
And do you feel it living there? Do you feel it?
Yes, yes, and it'll be.
You have probably the worst president the world has ever seen.
Well, you know, I'm not political, you know, so I'm not going to make a comment about the president.
I can't do it because I'm not an American.
But I will say this. It's the music that'll bring the people through. Because that's the only thing that the people have. You know, I mean, the people can't, you can't rely on the promises of a man, you know. And it's the music that God has given us to heal. It's the music. So once again, you'll see a resurgence of the blues throughout the world.
Do you feel it in the U.S., the blues regrowing and becoming
Yes.
a better thing?
Yes, yes. You know, we went through a period where, you know, there was a lot of, I mean, because people love the blues, you know, and a lot of people learn to play, you know, and so we went through a period of influx in the market of people playing blues, but not really playing blues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, perfectly.
And so, but when you have when you go through a period of time when the music really has to do what it's supposed to do, then you can only get it from where it's authentically coming from. That's the only healer right there. You can't get a healing from a fake healer. Okay? So now that's why I say the resurgence of the blues is coming back. It's coming back because people need it. People need something they can chew on. People need to come to a show and they need to leave the show feeling better than they came. They need to have something that they feel they can chew on, something that's going to, you know, uplift them and give them more strength to face the next day and maybe make a decision that'll be good for everybody, you know. Mm-hmm. That's what
kind
the blues
of
is for.
How the black churches
Yes.
do the gospel.
Yes, yes.
The blues, which is funny because the blues has always been kind of opposite sides with the gospel, but to us Europeans, it's so close together.
Well, no, actually, the blues and gospel are first cousins.
I think so, but usually the preacher men don't like the blues, or at least in the 50s and in the 60s.
Well, Son House used to play the club and then wake up the next morning and preach.
Yes, Sunday
right.
Monday.
That's right.
Tell us about that.
As a matter of fact, even Zac Harmon, okay? Zac Harmon, if you've ever heard the Mississippi Mass Choir, then you've heard Zac Harmon songs because Zac Harmon's written songs for the Mississippi Mass Choir, you know, and written songs for the blues, you know. So the blues and gospel, especially Mississippi, are first cousins. A lot of people get things kind of, they don't really understand the lineage and the history of the blues because they start with Chicago. Chicago's not where it started. Those guys in Chicago came from Mississippi. The Mississippi is where the blues started in the States, okay?
Yeah.
So, and so it was very closely related. Everybody that played blues also played gospel, played quartet gospel. So that's why they're so related. And the difference right now today between Mississippi blues and Chicago blues. The difference between me and Ronnie Baker Brooks is the gospel influence. Okay? The difference between, say, a Bernard Allison and Mr. Sip is the gospel influence. Okay?
Okay, great. Yeah, I heard a lot of gospel in your show today.
Yes.
Not super clear, but it's there. It's,
Well, I only had so much time to play. But if I'd played more, you would have heard more.
yeah, but I really felt it because it's super energizing
Yes.
and not so Chicago blues.
Right. But see, that's my job. That's the job of the bluesman. That's the bluesman's job. I have to energize you. I have to make you feel good. I have to give you what you cannot get in regular life. I have to give you something that you can leave a show with that is going to enrich you. That's what the blues is all about, man. You know, if I only come and I only make you feel good for the moment, then I have not done my job. You need to leave and you need to have your life affected by the songs you heard from me.
Yeah, that's a great statement. You were saying that only the real thing or only the real healer can do the job.
That's right.
What do you think it's a healer, a bluesman needs to be the real deal and not a fake one?
Well, I mean, it's almost like this. I'm a big fan of gypsy music. Love gypsy music. The Gypsy Kings, love them. And so I listen to some of their songs and I practice and I play some of their songs. And I can probably do a good job of playing one of their songs, but I can't be them. I can't do what they do because there's more to the experience that produces what they do that I can never experience. You understand what I'm saying?
Perfectly.
That's right. So that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, because I play the blues too.
Yes.
But I never pretend to be a black guy from Mississippi.
Right.
Because I'm not a black guy from Mississippi. So I try to bring my own experience to the blues I play and play it the way I think it's honest.
Right.
Because I cannot play about slavery when I was never a slave.
Right.
And when I wasn't born in a slavery, I cannot sing about the beginning of the 20th century because I was not there. I'm living in the 21st. So.
But don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to say that white guys can't play the blues.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Because I know some I know some like Rick Estrin, my good friend. He's a blues man. Stevie Ray Vaughan was a blues man.
Even Derek Trucks probably.
Derek Trucks, most definitely.
Yeah, he's one of the.
These guys have a similar experience that produces the same results. What I'm saying is you can't fake that experience.
Yeah. You have to be honest in your music to be to make it real. Otherwise, it's not real. It's mimicking other people's emotions.
Right. That's right.
Great advice. And how do you see the blues scene in this century, in the 21st century?
I think the blues is on a resurgence right now. Once again, because of society and because of life. When people need something, there's a part of what a human needs to be human. Okay? I mean, there's many elements, but music is a piece of that. And blues provides that. So that is why there will be a resurgence. That's right.
And you already feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Even in the US?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Great. I'm really happy to hear it. Because in Europe, it's really, I think it's in a really good health. But I've been told that in the US, it's kind of...
No, it's coming back. It's coming back.
I'm really happy
Yeah.
to hear it. And last question. It's kind of a double question. What's your advice to someone wanting to get in the blues world as a listener? And that's the first question. And the second part of the question, as a musician.
That's right. Well, I would say as a listener, do your homework. You know, look at the history, learn the history, so that you will you can follow the growth and the lineage of the blues. Okay, because many people will just listen to certain parts and they'll think that that's it, and that's not really it. You know, you got to look at the whole. The second thing is, as a player, you get out of it what you put into it. So, put something into it.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and for the great show you have done.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I hope the blues gets better every day.
All right.
Thank you so much. Muito obrigado. Até a próxima.
Vamos falar de blues.